didn't realize there was a State of Play today until my brother was like, "You watched the State of Play?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that was happening." I don't know.
I feel like they didn't. It was a pretty good State of Play. I feel like they didn't do a whole lot to, hype it up. Really, I guess that's probably for the best.
I mean, I feel like they just did like the Nintendo thing where they announced it. Oh yeah, we're doing State of Play tomorrow. See you there. And everyone was just like, okay.
So aside from the announcement that we're getting another State of Play, it's going to talk about Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Hell yeah.
What is there anything that stood out to you really in the State of Play? Anything that you thought, oh man, I need to own this?
Not really. I was like, the only thing that looked of any interest to me was like the Silent Hill stuff, specifically like the short message. I was curious because it's like a free to play like thing, and I was like, I feel like Silent Hill did this specifically to like, I don't know, what's the best way to say it? Quell the haters, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe it's just like this is what PT was going to be, but then we changed it a little bit. I don't know, because it has feelings of that, but not really. So
I feel like that's what they want people to think. But yeah. I'm not quite sure what to think of that one just yet. I think it looks interesting, but
I mean, here's the thing: it's free to play and it's out right now. So it's like if it's decent, I guess it gets me looking forward to a Silent Hill 2 remake. But I don't know.
No. I was very not happy with that preview that they put out in the State of Play.
Yeah, I was like, what is this showing off?
Aside from like the like Foam Star stuff, that was the low point for the State of Play for me. The issue that I had is that they made it look a lot like it was trying to be Resident Evil.
The funny thing is, I said the same damn thing. It looks like that somebody at Konami finally got around to playing Resident Evil 2 remake, and just said, "Oh yeah, we could totally do this with Silent Hill."
The problem is that those two franchises are so fundamentally different. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And the guns just sound so weak, dude.
Yeah,
it's like the dude is shooting pellet guns.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's I guess we'll see. But I still sit here going just like, it's really hard. It's really interesting that Konami's trying to like, bring back Silent Hill, obviously, but like they're also trying to do that without its creator.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think they're kind of coming to the point where it's like, if Yu-Gi-Oh starts going downhill, they really have nothing. It's like they've completely fucked up Metal Gear. They're trying to bring that back, and I'm not sure how that's going to go. And now they're putting all this stock behind Silent Hill and just hoping that it works out.
Yeah. Real fast, did you see like the stuff with like Kojima after all the Death Stranding stuff? It was like Kojima literally talking about it's after Death Stranding 2 they're going back to like the espionage type gameplay. And I was like, so you made this like weird thing, you made this weird horror game-esque thing in like in Death Stranding. Now you're going to make a game sort of like Metal Gear Solid.
Is Death Stranding a horror game?
I have no idea, honestly. I've never played it, but it has horror-like elements.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just how I put it. It's like it's really funny to think that it's like you went from this, which is similar in a way, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like it's its own thing at the same time, but now it's just like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna go back to basically like espionage games, and I'm like, so you're just gonna make Metal Gear Solid again?
Under a different name.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to make Metal Gear again. We're just going to call it something.
We're just going to call it Planet or what? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares?
Metal Gear Liquid.
Exactly. Instead of Solid Snake, it'll be Liquid Snake.
Something I did not expect to see, but I'm actually really happy about. Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the first Sonic generation?
No.
it is so good. It is so very good. So I'm actually really looking forward to that game.
Nice. I was like, I think one of the few I've only played very few Sonic games. I played like Sonic Advance for like the Game Boy Advance, obviously, and then and then I didn't play another Sonic game after that until fucking Sonic and the Black Knight.
Did you play Sonic Heroes?
No.
Oh, Cole doesn't like that sort of talk.
Sonic is a weird like. I've played less Sonic games than I have Legend of Zelda games, and I've only played like 3.
Dude, we need to get you on more Sonic.
Do we?
You like the movies. You'll like the games.
I like the movies because of how campy they are. It doesn't mean I don't know what Sonic is or anything like that. I've just never really played the games.
Yeah, but now you gotta play Sonic.
Fine.
Okay. Sonic Generations is the most accessible Sonic game of all time. How much is it on Steam?
I don't know.
It's $20. That's a steal. That's nothing. What?
I don't know. I just typed in Sonic in the search bar and it came out with Sonic Superstars as the first game.
Sonic Superstars? I've never heard of this.
Pretty sure that was like the most recent when did this come out? Yeah, October of last year.
Oh. Alrighty then. Sure.
Yeah.
It's $60? Oh, okay, it's 30 right now. But no, go play Sonic Generations. That game
But what about
great.
what about the murder of Sonic Hedgehog?
I actually hear that one's really good too.
It's free to play too.
Oddly enough. Don't know why they made that free to play. I guess because it's just so out there of a concept.
It's such a weird game for Sonic.
You know, to be fair, Sonic's made a lot of weird games, though. He made a turn-based RPG once for the Nintendo DS.
That is fair. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, other than like, I don't know, like there wasn't really much in the state of play that I was really interested in.
They also showed off a bunch of Ken Levine's new game.
Which one was that one?
Judas, that's right.
Oh yeah, that one. I really thought I was like I really thought it was just another BioShock game, but I'm like, wait, they wouldn't put from the creators of BioShock game on a BioShock game.
Yeah. It looks so bizarre in all of the best ways, and that's why I am just so pumped for it.
It also just has like, I don't know, just the general feel of like a BioShock game, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's cool. Yeah. Not a lot showing off though that I was interested in. I was just like, man, are we really going to spend like a fourth of the 10 minutes of the 40-minute presentation on just Death Stranding 2? Yes, we are. We absolutely are. I get it. It's Kojima, but at the same time it's like, do we really need to spend 10 minutes on it? You could have just given it like maybe 5 minutes max and then just gone, "Hey, that's all we got."
Did people like Death Stranding 1?
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those games where you either loved it or you fucking hated it and you don't care about it whatsoever. Because I'm of that mindset that I was like, I don't get it. Like I don't get it, and that's pretty much where my mindset has stayed.
When the game first came out, I watched a few reviews on it to see if I should buy it. And every single review, and I watched 3 different ones, were all like, yeah, I completed the game, and I still feel like I know dick all about it. It's a game where you do a whole lot of walking around,
Yeah, it's
not
walking
a
simulator.
whole lot else.
It's walking simulator.
Like, one of the positive reviews said that, like, in order to properly enjoy it, you need to have, like, a podcast or some bullshit on in the background while you play it. It's like, sounds like a chore. That doesn't sound like a video game.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't.
I've heard some people like you said. I've heard some people love it. I heard some people hate it.
I don't know. It's just one of those polarizing games. It's like you either love it or you hate it. So
The people that like it, hey, got a good look at the next one.
yes, they did. You know? So, I don't know. That is my general thoughts on it, though. I'm really excited for next week when they do the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play, though.
Yeah.
That'll be a good time.
February is going to be a great month.
February is going to be a month where I'm just going to go, how the fuck am I going to finish Persona 3 Reloaded before fucking before Rebirth?
Oh, you're not.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not.
I told Billy the other day, I was like, I'm going to try my darndest to get as far as I can in Persona 3 Reloaded, if not just like finish it. And I said I will absolutely 100% fail in that endeavor. But
let me just put this out there. You haven't started Alan Wake 2 yet, right?
Yeah.
You have not started it.
I have not.
Good. Just wait. Finish those 2 games first, because you're not going to finish Alan Wake 2 before P3 comes out.
Yeah.
And you're not going to finish P3 before Rebirth comes out. And you're not going to play all 3 at the same time.
Oh, hell no. No, it'll be one at a time. So, yeah, no, I've literally said, I was like, I think after Rebirth, I'm probably just going to end up playing Alan Wake 2, and then I guess we'll see from there. But there's not really like much after that's releasing this year that I care about, so.
2 big games that you give a fuck about are both releasing in the same month at the beginning of the year.
It sucks. It stinks.
Imagine that sort of irony, huh?
I know, it sucks. It stinks. I hate it. But at the same time, I love it. it's the juxtapose. I don't know. Yeah, I was just like, and then I'm like hoping for Hades 2, I guess, later in the year. But I'm just like, other than that, after February, I'm just like, I don't know. What should I play?
Can Hollow Knight 2 Silk Song please release this year?
Please. I would love that so much. I've honestly considered going back and playing the first game again, like just playing Hollow Knight again.
Yeah. I've just got so many other games on my list. Shoot.
I know what you mean. My brother's been on like a JRPG kick this year, pretty much. He's trying to play all the Trails games this year.
Wow.
Yeah, he wants to play all the Trails games. He just finished the first game.
Okay.
And
I guess I can't. I guess can't talk too much. I'm trying to play every Yakuza game.
That's fair. And but the Grand Blue Fantasy just came out, and he started playing that.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Isn't that franchise just massive?
Yeah, pretty much. He was just like, I've never watched the anime or anything like that, but he liked the gameplay of it. So I was like, cool. But he's just like, oh yeah, once Persona 3 Reloaded comes out, though, it's like that's gonna go on the back burner. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
I don't know. He's like me, where he's going to try and power through P3 Reloaded before Rebirth again, and I'm just going. He'll probably have a better chance to finish it than I will.
Yeah,
but it's still going to be rough.
There's just so much coming out in a very short period of time. I suppose the reprieve is that there's not a whole lot coming out for basically the entire rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like either unannounced games or just not really a lot right now. Which is a good and a bad thing, I guess. You know, like you're saying. It's like good and bad, because it's like, now we can have a breather from like wanting to play games, but at the same time, it's like, but there's nothing else currently coming out right now.
I mean, I suppose the reprieve is that we've had, such a stacked year that last year, we're finally able to catch up now. So after getting another look at Dragon's Dogma 2, is that now a game that you're looking forward to, or are you still like the whole thing?
I don't know. Like I played the first like 4 or 5 hours of the first game or whatever, and I just went like, I don't know. I just couldn't get on board with it for some reason. Like I don't know what it was.
I mean, that's fair. Not every game is going to click with every person.
it's so weird to me because it absolutely looks like a game that I would love, but it's just like
That's what I'm saying.
it's just so weird. Yeah, I'll just never understand it. I was like, the game looks fantastic, it looks great, and everything like that. And all I hear from people about it is just like it's really good. And then I just like, oh yeah, and then people are super excited for the second game, as they probably should be. I just don't care. It sucks. So in other thoughts in myself, I've recently got a couple emails specifically about this show. Okay, there was a what was it? I gotta find it here. I shouldn't have deleted it. And it was silly, but I'm never gonna find it now. But anyway, it was like basically just like, hey, we just saw the show or whatever. We think that you could really use our AI algorithm thing to help you out or whatever. And I sat there going like, no, I'm good or whatever. So got a couple of those in the past few days, which I thought was very funny. And then literally earlier today, this email by this person or whatever, it's literally just like, okay, I won't say the name, but it's like, my name is blank. I'm with the podcast outreach agency representing blank. And I'm sitting there going just like, and they think that they'd be a great addition, a great guest on your podcast or whatever. This person is sufficient at these things or whatever like that. Specifically when it comes to esports and uncovering and scouting top talent in esports.
Wait.
Yes, this is a legit email I got.
Well, I don't obviously listen to our... What the fuck?
I just thought it was
like...
super funny.
Oh man!
I was just like, what's even better about this is the last fucking episode. I was like, a majority of it we just talked about like sports, not even esports, just sports.
I mean, and even when we talk about esports, I feel like
all we do is shit on it.
All we normally do is like, yeah, it's whatever, it's boring and stupid, and we don't want to talk about it. Literally, when we talked about the Game Awards, we were like, we're just gonna skip the esports because neither of us give a fuck. Who cares about esports? And we get the fucking email, hey, we heard you guys are into fucking esports.
Well, it's not just esports, but like that's like the main thing this person's known for. So it's just like, I sat there going just like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, man.
I like how
Sounds
also
neat, but I think we'll take anybody else.
I also like how just like it's just like, discover the ultimate resource for Valorant fans, professional esports players, influencers, and commercial brands. Whoa.
Don't.
Oh man. Is so funny. I was just like, oh my god, I gotta bring this up. It is so great. It's like, look, like you said, I don't know what the fuck podcast they're listening to, but it's definitely not this one.
Yeah.
I always like, I get like so many emails of like, hey, we just discovered your podcast or whatever. We think this thing and blah, 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 blah would be really good and whatever. I get so many of those and I just instant delete or whatever because it's always for just like, yeah, you use AI tools to help stuff. And I'm like, nope, going right in the garbage.
I mean, I used to get a plethora of emails that were just like, hey, you want to get sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends or World of Tanks or whatever?
Yeah, I get a bunch of those too, especially... yeah.
My streams get like typically 2, maybe 4 people like per stream.
Well,
hell are they sponsoring me for?
Well, and I think here's why, and I think this is necessarily why, is that because they treat it, because pretty much like how I found out that most of those sponsorships go is that if basically they give you a goal, if you don't meet that goal, they are not required to pay you, basically. So it's like it's just putting their name out there. And even if it reaches like a few people, you still didn't meet the quota most likely. So they don't have to pay you for as a result of that, and then they just got free people to play the game. Ain't that shitty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super shitty.
Yeah. That's why it's just like if there was an actual fucking sponsor that wanted one day to actually like sponsor podcasts or stream or whatever, cool. It's definitely not going to be like that though. It's like whenever it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like stuff I would actually want to use or like actual good products or something like that. Not like
not Raid
Shadow Legends or whatever other fucking I don't know,
World
like
of Tanks.
Yeah, or like what is it? Like the mobile game stuff.
Candy Crush Saga, stuff like that.
There's so many other ones, whatever. Like
Foam Stars.
Sure, dude. Did you see? Did you see real fast though that like in the middle of the fucking PlayStation thing, they announced like a new thing for Hoyverse, and I go, Jesus Christ!
A new thing for what verse?
For the Hoyverse or whatever. It's the people who make like Hongstar Rail and Genshin. I was just like, they really just don't make enough from these games, I guess, huh? I thought that was kind of funny.
What is the Hoyverse again?
It's the people that make it's the developers that make like Genshin and Hongstar Rail.
Oh yeah, they're making that ZZZ thing, right? That's them?
Yes, that's what it is.
Not gonna lie, I honestly thought that looked kind of good.
It's like my brother said. It's like everyone says that these games are like good, despite being gacha games or whatever. But I still sit here going, just like, it's so weird.
I mean, I'm never going to play it, but yeah,
me neither. I don't know. I'll never understand most of the
whole like gacha game craze.
Gacha games or mobile games or whatever stuff. It's like,
what? Kind of going back to what we said before, or we were talking about last week. I feel like a lot of these mobile games are a fad that kind of came and went because game industry for the longest time was like mobile gaming is the future. We're going all in on mobile gaming, and that just turned into nothing because
that's because that's where they make the most money.
Yeah. That only really can be said about like a very select few games. It's like not every game is going to be like Genshin Impact or Candy Crush Saga. It requires a very like adequate balance of like being an actual video game versus something that you can just like do mindlessly for 5 minutes on the toilet to be like a good mobile game. It's like nobody wants to play Call of Duty on their cell phones.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing with like, I don't know. Like you said, it's like, oh, this is the future of it, and I sit here going just like, but is it really? And then the ads for like all the fucking like mobile game stuff. I don't know how they get away with like that kind of shit, but they just do.
I mean, obviously we don't think it's the future of gaming or whatever. But Square Enix is still going all in on NFTs, cryptocurrency, and AI. So what the hell do we know?
Right.
I had the most socially awkward thing happen to me today.
Yeah.
Because for the first time in a long time, I actually went clothes shopping. It's where I got the new hat. So I was talking. I don't know why I was in this mindset, but I was at Spencer's and I saw this again. I saw this and I really liked it, and I decided that I wanted to buy it. But for some reason, despite me doing something completely mundane, I was super proud of myself, being like, I'm doing adult stuff. I'm buying clothes. That's something grown-ups do. I'm not buying video games today. So when I went to check out this guy, he's like, hey, dude, how's it going? And no joke, said it exactly like this. I'm buying clothes.
That's good.
The fucking look that he gave me. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck is my problem? He gives me my receipt and he's like, have a nice day. Yeah, you too. And I just walk out of the store with my head down and hands in my pocket, just like walk running away.
Just run away. That's good.
I'm now scared to go back in that store now, just in case, like, if I go back in, and I see the same guy, and it's like, hey, dude, are you buying clothes? Yeah.
Yeah, it's me, Mr. Clothes Buyer.
I like Kirby.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Do you remember what you're going to say now?
I do. I did, actually. It was like midway
Nice.
through what you were talking about. I recently saw on Reddit that Universal is pulling all the music like from TikTok, basically under, and it's like here's it's really quite something, honestly, that I think is kind of interesting, because TikTok released a statement yesterday talking about how they're about Universal Music Group pulling their music from like all their TikTok or whatever. So basically, and it's like, and they basically said in their statement, it's sad and disappointing that Universal Music Group has put their own greed above their interests of their artists and songwriters, and it is, despite the false narratives and rhetoric, the fact that they've chosen to walk away from a powerful support platform well above a billion users that serves free promotional and discovery vehicle for its talent, TikTok has been able to reach artist-first agreements with every label and publishers. Clearly, Universal's self-serving actions are not in the best interest of artists and fans. Huh. Okay. So, doing a quick little search or whatever, just a quick little research on this, on everything that's going on here. To me, this is TikTok saying, "How fucking dare you pull your music from one of the most popular like short service things or whatever, and the most popular like influencer platform, basically." and it's like you're gonna regret this because we're not making as much money now or whatever. And it's like, but they're saying that they're greedy. And here's the thing, I think both are necessarily not in the right. Is how I look at this. And it's weird to think about it in that way, because TikTok is basically shaming Universal for doing this by saying this statement. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like Universal's pulling music from TikTok because the artists themselves don't even want their music used on TikTok. A lot of like specifically the smaller artists don't want their music on to TikTok because they don't make jack shit on it.
So like, why wouldn't they want their music pulled from the website?
Yeah, exactly. But it's discoverability and whatnot. Like, who cares if you're not making a lot of money out of it? But people are using your song that you're making very little off this to make a lot of money on TikTok. That's why. I think back to the stuff with like Twitch when the whole like DMCA apocalypse thing happened. Is the reason why they didn't want people using music is, one, because they didn't really have agreements and everything like that, and that was a long time coming. But at the same time, it was that because streamers were using music that they didn't have the rights to, that they weren't giving the money from the studios or to the artists that made them. And it's like they just wanted the cut like they should have been. And the fact is, it went on for so long is always astounding to me. But it did. Still even goes on to this day. I see streamers all the time still playing music and not give two fucks about it. It's great.
Awesome.
But anyway, it's just like, it's just so funny that TikTok basically just went out and shamed Universal for this, and I'm just like, well, no shit. It's like, even just comparing like the the revenue things. It's like, yes, there's a lot more people that get exposed to the music from TikTok, but just even comparing it to the music video that's put on YouTube or whatever, the one gets so much more on YouTube than it does on TikTok. And so it's just like, which would you rather be on, especially if you're a small artist? Now, for like the bigger artists, like I don't know, like Taylor Swift or anything like that, it's like they don't give a shit. They make too much. They make too much money as it is.
They make too much money to realize that they're losing money.
Exactly. Who the fuck they care?
They don't have to give a fuck. Whereas these artists that aren't getting quite as much as like Taylor Swift or Kanye West or whatever, they're kind of getting fucked by this. It's like, why am I not getting anything out of this deal at the end of the day?
And also, and here's the thing is like usually what happens is they'll only take like a small part of the music and put it into the song, and then everyone will always know that part of the song, but not the full song as it is intended. Yeah. I don't know. I always feel like music has, ever since like the internet has really popped up and like streaming and everything like that. I mean, obviously, ever since like iTunes, basically, like after iTunes, like they've been. It's true. So ever since iTunes basically happened, like
I agree with you. It's just a weird thing to think about.
I know, but music has not found a way to make itself make itself profitable, but at the same time make itself. I mean, it's profitable. That's not really the right word to use, but like,
God, I get what what you're getting at. People these days have so many like different ways of just accessing music for free, and is that what you're getting at?
It's sort of just like
it's hard for music makers to find different ways of making money now that like CDs and iTunes have kind of gone down the bin.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's like, oh, you could put your song on Spotify, but you don't make a lot out of it or whatever. So it's just like,
yeah,
and it's just like, and then it's like, music people always say, it's like, well, if you get an album, you gotta listen to the whole album. That's the whole experience of the thing or whatever. It's like, but I just want it for this song because this is the only good song in the goddamn album, or something like that. I don't know. That's what I always hear from the oldies or whatever, the old people, but whatever, or even just music lovers in generals.
You just have to listen to the whole album.
You got to listen to the whole album to get the whole experience of what the artist is trying to say. And I sit here going, just like,
that has not been a thing for years now. It has been such a trend, especially these last couple of years, where they'll put out a new album. They'll know that they have only like one like really like good song on it, so they'll just like pack it full with a bunch of just crap to fill the thing out.
Yeah.
And honestly, most people are just buying it for that one song, and they'll ignore the rest. It's suggesting you need to listen to all the crap to really get the good stuff makes no fucking sense.
I also feel like that argument was made during the time that iTunes really popped up, and it was just like, oh, well, now you don't have to buy the whole album. You can just spend $99 or whatever to buy the one song you actually care about. You know, I always felt like that was kind of the argument that you never heard that argument going forward, like even back then or whatever. But then once iTunes or like popped up or whatever, and everyone just like, oh, I don't care about the whole album. I just want this song because this is the only good song on this whole album. And it's like, but no, you got to listen to the whole album. And I'm like, no, you really don't. I always just found that so funny, but. Yeah. And so it's just like, I don't know, like this whole thing with like TikTok and like Universal Music Group, though, I was just like, I thought it was interesting because it's just like TikTok only wants it because they want to be able to use the music without getting DMCA'd or whatever. Like they want their creators to do that because that's basically how they've always done their platform, is that they basically say like they have like all these agreements with like the artists or the publishers or whatever to be able to use the music. So any of their creators can, but at the same time it's like, but how much does that benefit the actual artist or anything like that? Probably not a lot. And just a quick little like I said, a quick little like Google search or whatever, some quick little research is like, yeah, it's significantly less than even YouTube. So, I'm not surprised. Can't say I'm too surprised that happened. I'll be curious to see how TikTok handles it, I guess, or maybe even just how Universal handles it, because it's like now that they pull all their music and like TikTok no longer has claims to that music, will they get kind of like the Twitch treatment and how that whole that DMCA stuff happened, where it's just like they'll have like
they'll play a different song over the actual music,
or just like will there or it's just like will there be DMCA claims? Will TikTok have to like really hand it out to like its creators saying, hey, you cannot use the songs for Universal Music Group or whatever, and just make sure if you do, you can't do this, otherwise you're going to be the one to blame and you're going to be the one that gets DMCA claimed. Very well could be. I don't know. I just thought it interesting. It's just like, yeah, when you really think about it, it's like, yeah, TikTok makes a lot of sense. Why would they want to do that? Oh, wait, because they don't make shit. And it's just like, if a song is only going to be known for one little part of it, I don't even think artists want that.
I also think like the whole discoverability thing is
silly.
I don't know. It's always felt like something that is just in. It feels like it's sort of in bad taste. It's like hiring someone and saying, "Oh, well, you'll get paid through the exposure that you get."
Yeah.
That get through something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, that's worthless to me.
That's worthless.
Because chances are, at the end of the day, it's not going to achieve shit. I'm willing to bet, like, for some people in TikTok, they'll maybe like look into like, oh, I wonder what this song is. I might really like this artist. I feel like the grand majority are just like, all right, cool.
Nah, scroll on, move past to the next.
Basically, yeah. And the only like artists that do really get people's attention, that they're like, oh, this is Doja Cat or some shit. I like her. Next TikTok. It's like their platform doesn't promote discoverability. To say that it is like a benefit is just crazy to me.
Yeah. It's like out of every song that's blown up in in TikTok's like short life so far, it's like how many of those songs do you think actually saw like super significant like listening after like it popped up or anything like that, or even afterwards, like even after like the fad faded, I guess.
Like maybe 2.
I can't imagine it's a lot.
No, I feel like,
yeah. I don't know. TikTok and social media is always just the weird part of the world to me. I'll never understand it. Don't worry though. When it comes to like Twitter and everything like that, it's like better talk to Elmo because he'll ask how your day was.
What was up with that?
So I saw Elmo, apparently the Elmo account on Twitter tweeted out, Elmo is wondering, how's everyone doing today? And apparently everyone just fucking unloaded on that or whatever with just like problems.
I want to fucking
or
die.
Just like, yeah, pretty much like that kind of stuff. And then it was just like, and then like the Elmo account literally just tweeted out, it was just like, wow, it turns out everyone really needed to get something off their mind today. It's like, Elmo's glad that you're all doing that we can all have this moment of public health. And I'm just like,
who's gonna pay my bills, Elmo?
What? This is so weird. I was just like, what the fuck? What? I was like, what happened? Apparently, if you just need to vent out problems, don't go to a therapist. Go to Elmo.
No.
You'll get transported to Elmo's world, and then you'll remember, and then you'll forget everything, and then you'll stay there forever and ever, and never see the light of day ever again.
I mean, I suppose it's kind of like recompense after Elmo unloaded on the audience over his hatred of rock.
That's fair. Look, sometimes you just need to explode, and then you feel better.
Yeah. And Elmo is here for that.
Exactly. That's why he built his own world so he could go crazy in it.
I built this whole world where the rocks can't hurt me, and everyone cares about everyone else's problems.
Exactly. Exactly.
So have you been replaying through Final Fantasy VII Remake to get ready for Rebirth?
I really should have done that, but I didn't. I don't know. I pretty much remember the gist of it, and even Square put out this everything you need to know for Rebirth, little 3-minute trailer, which just generally went over everything you kind of need to know for it. Just a little recap. No, I thought about doing that, but I'm just it's this weird I have a half a month before that comes out. It's what should I play? Or half a month before Persona 3 comes out. It's what should I play until that point? And so I've decided I'm gonna relearn TFT for some reason.
You were talking about that.
Yeah,
that's weird. I thought you were never going back to that one.
Dude, same. I really did too. But then I watched then I'll watch Spazzy play it, and it just looks fun. And I'm just fuck this set. I was I hate that I'm learning the set as I'm watching his videos and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going all right, fine, fuck.
I mean, I'm glad that you're getting back into it, though. I remember the times that we were playing it. It was a lot of fun.
It was. You know what's really funny though, as well, is that in the game there's a revival set or whatever. It's a throwback set, mm-hmm. and whatever, and it's the set that we always played whenever we played TFT.
Is that so?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
it's the Galaxies set, which I think is interesting with slightly updated mechanics and the items of the current day rather than the ones of the past. Or whatever. I played one game and I went, oh yeah, I remember this set. I remember not really liking this set that much. It was alright. But it's the current one they have it's pretty good. It has issues, but what it always does. It always happens.
I mean, that's just most games in general.
Yeah,
I'm glad that overall it seems to be pretty good, though.
Hey, it's classic. It's classic Riot where they don't remember to balance all of their things or whatever. It's balancing. What is that? There are worse ones, but it definitely feels like that at some points. I'm just why is this one so much better than everything else?
So it seems to just be the one thing that overcomes basically everything else. Every generation of TFT.
Yeah, I feel every year, especially the start of the year, I don't know what it is, but it's I get the urge to play League or TFT. I'll never understand why. It's just it's happened for 3 years now. I'm just oh man, I remember playing League. It was a lot of fun. I should go back and just play one game. Just to get out of me, and I'm just now I remember why. Now I remember why I played this game. I also think it was because I just didn't really have a game to play, and I didn't want to start a bigger game before the big games come out. So I was I thought about playing Alan Wake 2 right at the beginning of this year, but then I was am I gonna really finish it in a month? Maybe. I mean, if I started right now and then just play it, but then I never did.
There's just so much more coming out.
Yeah.
So much coming out so quickly.
I also think it's because I finally beat the second boss in Darkest Dungeon 2, finally. Ugh.
Nice.
It took me so damn long. It took too damn long. I finally fucking beat it, though. And it felt real good. And then I haven't played it since. I haven't even loaded up the third scenario yet. It's almost like a personal accomplishment for me. It's all right, we're good there. I'll come back in a little while to finish it.
Do it.
I will. It's just we got the back to backs. I don't know. What you been up to recently, game wise or whatever?
I've been playing lots of Yakuza 0.
That's right. I remember you saying you were playing through the Yakuza games.
Yeah.
How you liking it?
I like them a whole lot. I figured that I was going to enjoy them, but not to the degree that I have been. It's just so over the top cool.
I just remember when we were at Brennan's place or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, let me show you Ichiban's like best fucking ability, where he fires an orbital laser. Okay.
I'm. I mean, that's just like the Dragon games, from what I can tell. The game that I'm playing, Yakuza Zero, seems to be a lot more grounded, but it's just a really fun beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And it's it's a series that I've always thought about getting into, because we've talked about this. There's basically a new Yakuza game coming out every single year. It's like more streamlined than Call of Duty is at this point. And the issue is that they're all really good. They seem to just get better every year. Like, I think Infinite Wealth is what, like a 91 on Metacritic or some bullshit. It's down to an 89, which is still
pretty good.
yeah. And then it's like that's coming right off the Man with No Name that was also like apparently just an incredible video game, and it's like you can only hear like this is the greatest series of all time so many times before it's like, well, I feel like I'm obligated to try it out at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I was like, I think that was why my brother decided to play all the Trails games, because he's just like, oh yeah, it's like he played Trials of Arise, and then he's like, yeah, this is like the 11th game in the series or whatever, and I hear they're all really really good. So he's just like, I'm just decided I'm gonna play it. I think he saw them like all on sale, and he's just like, I'm gonna buy like the first few, and we're gonna go from there. Yeah. Well, it's like might as well just play all the what is it? Final Fantasies again at that rate.
No. Fuck me, that takes so long.
Yeah.
You would have to include like the Final Fantasy 14 too, wouldn't you?
I never was sure whether or not I count like the MMO ones, like 14 and 11.
Have you ever tried those before?
No. Well, no, I tried 14 a while back, and it
wasn't your thing?
Not my thing.
Yeah, at least you tried it, though.
I remember it was like, I think it was around the time that they had, what was it? The free trial or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I don't know. People always say that Final Fantasy 14 is really good. Let me give it a quick little peek.
That's what I've always heard about it, and I feel like as like the token Final Fantasy guy in our group, that you would have tried it.
Yeah, I did. I just, like most MMOs for me, didn't do it. I don't know. That's why I was like, I was never really sure whether or not I count those, and like if I ever decided one day to replay all of the Final Fantasy games, do I do it? I mean, 11 you can't really play anymore, and 14 is like this ever expanding thing or whatever. So it's like, do I count those? I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah, I was like, I don't really think so. I think I just like say, nah, I think I'm good there. So we just kind of skip them.
Speaking of which, like, you remember how last week we were talking about how one of these days there's going to come a point where everyone's going to be talking about, like, you know what, we were too hard on Forspoken.
Mm-hmm.
I did see a little bit of that recently, and I was just thinking, man, it did not take a whole too long. I think it was it Gene Park? I think it came out and was like, no, looking back at Forspoken, the gameplay was really solid, the traversal was really good, and there were some story bits that were really good. It was not as bad as everyone made it out to be, and it's like, yeah, man.
There was one part in the game that I legitimately was just like, I probably should have seen coming, but I just didn't. Like, I don't know, spoilers if you care, I guess, but it was like right when you go defeat the last Tanta, the your cuff or whatever that you've been walking around with the whole time literally like turns into this like it was basically just like this arch enemy like godlike figure almost that was like, oh, this is the main bad guy the whole time, and you said they're going like, huh, probably should have seen that coming, but I didn't. So there was that. I was just like, wow, this was actually kind of a shocker moment. Like I did not see it coming, considering like the playfulness that like the two characters like Frey and Cuff had. I was like, all right, definitely should have seen it coming in hindsight, but at the moment, yeah, no. I don't know what it is with like certain like. You ever have those like moments in games or even like movies or whatever? It's like all the signs are there, everything is there, but you just go like, man, I just didn't see it.
I'm sure there is. I'm struggling to think of.
I have another example of this too, because I just have this innate ability to turn off my brain during like really important moments in games for some reason, or like moments where like, hey, this is a giant massive hint to some foreshadowing later in the game, or whatever. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, when you beat Olympus Coliseum, what's his face? Xigbar shows up and he just goes, "May your heart be your gun," and then it like cuts to black, and it's like. And because it cuts to black and it doesn't feel natural, your brain just goes over the top of it and goes, what was he saying there? And he goes, no, wait, that didn't feel right. Why did it cut there? Like that doesn't make sense. And so that's all your brain thinks about. And then it's revealed later in the game, I guess spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3, but like if it reveals later in the game that he's Lushu, like one of the what is it? The foretellers or whatever, I think is what they're called. And it's just like, and he's been the bad guy the whole time or whatever. And like, and he sat there going just like, and he even said the line, "May your heart be your guiding key." But because in that moment it went to black too early and your brain just skimmed over everything that he just said. And then the very end, when it's revealed that it's him, you go, oh my fucking God, how did I miss this? Yeah, it's kind of wild. And it's really funny because and then you look back even further on how long that was foreshadowed for. Mm-hmm. Was that even back in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you fight him, because he's he's a boss fight in that game, is when you defeat him, he goes, "If I had a Keyblade, things would be different too." And you go, oh, but he did have a Keyblade and he just didn't use it. Huh. Well, this adds a whole new element to a character I didn't expect. I just thought he was a funny, cool character to look at. Nope. Turns out he's a lot bigger than we thought. It's always like last twist you didn't see coming, but like probably should have when you really think about it.
Do we consider the twist in BioShock to be predictable?
With the
or did that just
would you kindly or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's a reveal in a way, because it's like you wouldn't think too much of the words like, are you like, would you kindly, until you realize, oh, that's the the trigger that makes your brainwash go crazy.
I didn't quite see that one coming when that came up.
I feel like one of the few times that I ever like noticed it was probably like seven Crisis Core. It's like you see all the foreshadowing there, but it's one of those things where you see all the foreshadowing, but you don't want to believe it.
Yeah. So you just put it in the very back of your mind, like,
exactly. Zack's not gonna die. It'll be fine. No. I guess my other one would probably be like Shadow of War. If I really think about it, it's like it foreshadows like, oh, anyone that wears the the rings or whatever ends up being a ring wraith or whatever. I'm like, nah, Italian would never do that or whatever. But then like Celebrimbor's betrayal, and it was just like I legitimately really didn't see that coming. It was just like clearly he was being more, I don't know, harsh on Talion. I guess.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, clearly their relationship's kind of falling apart, mainly because Celebrimbor went basically full heel after he made the ring because he poured all of his like, I don't know, he was so obsessed with the new ring and everything like that. So it was just like, it makes sense that it was like, oh, he left Talion, to die, and then go to what was her name, Etariel, to like actually go face Sauron. And then it was just like, oh, Shelob told you right off the very get-go, like right from the beginning of the game. It's like, no, Celebrimbor is going to betray you, Talion. And he's like, and we're all sitting here going, nah, we're homies. Trust me, we got this. We're going to go take Sauron down and it'll be crazy. And it's like, no, Shelob's just like, if that legitimately would have happened, it would have happened. So it's like, oh shit. So I wish there was an alternate ending to that game where it would actually just like, that you would actually be able to go and actually go fight Sauron with Talion rather than Etariel and Celebrimbor and actually like win. I think that would have been a really cool twist.
Yeah.
Like there was like two different endings for it. That'd be kind of cool. One of the hype moments. That was one of my biggest hype moments in games too. Is when Talion puts on Isildur's ring, and I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, dude! I did not expect that.
I'm really sorry. I'm mind blanking hard on this one.
You good? It doesn't even have to just be games. Like it could be movies too. Is there any like movies that you just like?
I'm trying to think of movies. I would say that I was not fooled by that even slightly. Everyone saw the twist in Frozen coming from a million miles away. You are a moron if you didn't see that coming.
I mean, it was the same thing with like, what was it, Coco? I think it was, where it was just like, oh, the kid runs into his like uncle or whatever, or like his ancestor that like, and I'm just like, was anyone really surprised they're related? It's like that was kind of obvious from the get-go.
I will admit, okay, that is one that I fell for. I did not
really
see that one coming. Yeah.
Oh man.
Also, for what was it, the Batman? You insisted that you knew what's his name's the Riddler's plan from the start. I had no idea until he actually went and what?
I didn't.
I thought. Okay.
I mean, maybe you're talking to like Evid, but I was just like, I don't know. He's fucking Riddler. Who the fuck knows what he's up to? I don't know. My whole thing, I don't know. The Batman was another one of those movies that just wasn't for me. It's just like, I think it's just too slow. Some people like that slow burn or whatever. I'm good. Dude, y'all excited for Joker 2, though? The musical?
No. No, I am not. I don't know why they're making that movie.
What is it? Like Lady Gaga's like Harley Quinn or something like that?
Is she actually?
I don't know. That was the rumors of the reports or whatever, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, she's Harley Quinn.
Did you see the first Joker movie?
I did. I didn't think it was all that.
Was it any good? I don't know. I honestly kind of trying to avoid that movie.
That's fair.
I didn't think it looked terrible. I just wasn't at all interested in it.
It was
the Joker, and it's so like dark and edgy. Doesn't that sound cool? It's just.
I mean,
not fucking really.
I'll
be honest.
The thing about Joker, the thing about the Joker movie was that like by the time the movie got good is when he embraced his role as the Joker, basically, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it was like that's where the movie ended. And it's just like you see just like him the slow descent into madness, and it's just like And he's like, look, Joaquin Phoenix did great, but he's like the majority of the why that movie is watchable to me. Like, but it's just like beyond that, other than some weird, goofy, weird like stuff or whatever, and just like general unhinge. It's like it really wasn't that great of a movie. I think the whole thing was that it was like the general thing. It was like to make it relatable, I guess, to people or whatever. And I sit there going, just like, how is this supposed to be relatable to people? Like, that wasn't that the
Also,
big fear going into it, is that people were gonna like sympathize with the Joker and become anarchists. Isn't that what people were fear mongering going into that movie?
I was just saying too. I was just thinking too. It's like, why would you want the Joker of all people to be relatable? That makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember a bunch of fear. Like, I think even when I went to go see it in like the theaters, like even at the like theater we always go to, is like they even brought an extra security guard in there, literally just in case, because of all the fear mongering. And I go, oh, jeez.
I got one more. It's kind of a weird answer for this, and I feel kind of bad because it's a spoiler for a pretty recent movie, as in one that's still in theaters.
Oh, go for it.
So for Godzilla -1, everybody, I knew that device in his cockpit. I knew that was going to be a ejector seat. I feel like most of us knew that's what was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I honestly thought that when his girlfriend died, she was dead for good. I did not expect her to come back at the end.
Did anyone? I mean, she went fucking flying through the air after Godzilla did like his like big atomic blast. It's just like, you lived? Wow, that's crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah, right? And it's like, where have you been this whole time? Oh, she's got amnesia. Oh, well, you know. I feel like that was like literally in there just to have a happy end, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Did we really need to have that?
Probably.
Not really. Well, it's like, is the whole redemption thing, right? It's just that, like, he was just like, oh, he failed to, you know, do his duty or whatever and be a suicide bomber or kamikaze fighter or whatever. And in as a result of that, he lost like everything, the respect from everyone and stuff like that. All that, I don't know. It was just like, it was the parallels.
How crazy would it have been if he had died at the end of the movie? It's like he knew that was there, but he just decided not to activate it. And all for Godzilla just to start regenerating at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that'd be really sad, but it kind of goes back on how, like, kamikaze pilots, they died an honorable death. They did it to protect the people that they care about, but ultimately it did end up being pointless in the end because they wasted all those lives just to still lose the war at the end.
Yeah. I mean, that was like generally just like, what was it? The how basically Japan waged that war.
Did you want to talk about the Microsoft layoffs at all, or
there were more Microsoft layoffs?
That like nearly 1,000 got laid off recently. Did you not hear about that?
No.
Yeah, apparently this is the interesting part that I found interesting. They basically gutted their entire like physical games department.
Can't say I'm too surprised on that one.
No. It sucks for all the people that lost their jobs, but we've been talking about for years about how the future is ultimately, obviously neither of us like it, but the future ultimately is digital. We're moving towards an all digital future.
I mean, that's how everyone seems to want it.
I don't think they'd go that hard, though, to basically lay off their entire physical games department. It's like, are they going to come out like sometime this year being like, yeah, we're done with physical games now? Or
I mean, honestly, whenever like the next Xbox and like PlayStation or I, I even really think like the Switch 2 or whatever the hell it is, whatever the hell it's going to be called, is basically going to be. I don't even think that's going to have physical games any either. Like I legitimately don't think that it will.
I think Nintendo might keep it going for just like one more console generation. I'm pretty sure like Xbox, both Xbox and PlayStation are done. I think PlayStation might go to the end of the PS5. I think Xbox is going to be done after this year, especially after all those layoffs. I just also think it's so funny. Like just this last year, Microsoft became more profitable than Apple has. They're worth, I think, like $3 trillion right now. One of the most profitable companies on the face of the planet, and they're talking about how they needed to lay off 900 people and how sorry they are that they had to do this. It's like, fuck off.
You're never sorry, especially a big company like Microsoft. You're not sorry. Don't say bullshit like that. We all know what this is for. I always hate those like for like big ass companies like that are laying off people or whatever. It's like shut the fuck up. You're not sorry. If you're sorry, you never would have done it.
In terms of this year in general, I think kind of a sad prediction. I think this is going to be an even worse year for layoffs than last year was.
Probably, honestly.
But we have had more than half of last year's layoffs just in
First month
this,
alone.
just in the first month of 2024 by itself.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening to the games industry, dude?
It's
Fucking depressing.
I mean, I generally think it's all the people that all these gaming industries and tech industry like people that they hired during the pandemic at the time, because there were so many people gaming because you couldn't go outside, there was nothing to do, like you couldn't meet up or anything like that, so you met online. And so like all these companies or whatever, all these different things like just hired more and more people for games and everything like that, and it's like, oh, now everyone's back in the workforce, less people are gaming now than they were back in 2020 or 2021, and it's just like all right, let's go back to normal. Hey, now we have like an extra 2,000 people or whatever. All right, just lay them off. It's really what it comes down to. It's just like it's stupid, and I don't understand it. It's like, how about you instead take those people that you have, the talented people that you have, and just put them in a new direction and just make more. You know, I'll never understand that. It's like for something like Microsoft especially, it's like you have so many studios. It's just like, you don't think you couldn't redisperse them in a better way if you don't want them to have them on like Activision Blizzard's thing or whatever, so you couldn't put them somewhere else or anything like that. I don't know. I'm no fucking business person or anything like that, but just generally to me, it's like, why couldn't you?
It also just is going to kill morale, absolutely, because all of those because everyone that's still there now is going to be thinking, when am I going to, am I fucking next?
Yeah.
Does this just mean that if all of my like coworkers are disposable, does that mean I'm also disposable? Also, just for Blizzard too, that like survival MMO thing that they had going on for a while, they apparently canned that, and that entire team has been fired. Like all of them are just gone now, and I think Blizzard's chief creative officer is also gone now.
Jeez, man. Again, really talented folks that I'm sure you couldn't have done anything else with, huh? I don't know. It's just, is it about stretching yourself too thin? I don't know. But I sit here going just like, but if everything in your capacity, everything that you have is churning out stuff that either breaks even or makes a profit, isn't that a good thing? You know?
You would think.
Yeah. I oftentimes think it's like Microsoft has kind of taken the mindset of that Valve has. Almost feels like, where it's, I don't want to make millions of dollars. I want to make billions of dollars. And it's like, anything that's not going to make billions of dollars, we don't want. Even if it's going to make millions of dollars. I don't care. It's just like, really? Really? I really think that, other than like a few exceptions or whatever, like a lot of games going forward here, a lot of like the big games going forward will be like indie games kind of going forward.
A lot of like the more impressive and noteworthy games, I think that's absolutely going to be the case.
Like,
because think about what one of the biggest games of this year already is, like Pal World or whatever it's called.
yeah. But
two of people's most anticipated games for this year are both Hades 2 and Silksong.
Yeah. And it's like, I look at it just going just like, and how many games do you think will either just do basically what like indie games already do really well? It's kind of my thought on that. It was like, you see it all the time where it's just like, oh, one indie game will do this thing really good, and then like everything will try and copy it or whatever. So it's like, it kind of happened when Valheim happened or whatever, where it was like everyone's like, all right, now we got to make, everyone's really interested in survival games again or whatever, and it's just like and it's like now we're gonna have like a bunch of just like almost Pal World ripoffs again.
It's like, no, people are fans of games that are good and made well. That's really all it comes down to. I think a lot of it, when it comes to like expecting these like crazy game turnouts, is that so many games have such an unbelievably huge budget now. They feel like, oh, okay, well, this game has to make like fucking hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of billions or whatever, and it's like, maybe just make more cheaper games. That way you might start getting some of your investment back.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the movie industry, where a lot of film studios are just like, it's going to be this or nothing. It's still pretty bad, though.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, I really do think that a lot of like, it's like, obviously you always have the AAA game, like you always have like the AAA games that everyone knows, but it's like, I just have a feeling that like this year and probably years going forward are just going to be like, a lot of them are just going to be like the indie scene that are being like, oh, what was your like top game of the year? I don't know, like Hades 2. And it's like, yeah, it's like an indie game or whatever. It's super giant or whatever. And I'm just like, hell yeah. It's like if all these AAA games, all they ever want to do is make money, it's not gonna go well. I mean, granted, let's look at the latest flop of potential flop at least of Suicide Squad, which came out completely and utterly broken and during its early access part in day one, like it was like yesterday or something.
It was so broken. So what happened was, apparently upon starting the game, a glitch happened where you completed the entire game automatically.
Yep.
At just starting, so they had to shut the early access servers down to do maintenance on them. They say they said they think they fixed the problem, and they put the game back online, and then encountered another whole host of problems, and they had to take it offline again. So the people that paid $100 for that deluxe edition or whatever, they're just getting no value out of that.
Just all of round of applause for just such a great release of a game. It is just wonderful. It's like everyone was already on the fence about whether or not this was going to be a flop already, and then to have all these problems to the point where there was a glitch that just said, "Hey, you already beat the game. You haven't even played it." Man, how are speedrunners going to beat a 0-second speedrun? And even still, it's like they were also just like saying it's like, yeah, it's only like 9 hours, 10 hours to beat or something like that. I'm like, geez, it is like barely anything of a game too. That's great.
So it has a relatively like I have nothing against like short campaigns, but this is supposed to be a live service. It all really depends on the end game content from there. And from what I hear, that the game doesn't have a heck of a lot of end game content. Yeah. And it's like, what are they going to add? What's the roadmap for this game if it is a live service at the end of the day? So far, it has absolutely nothing. You have a short campaign filled with tolerable gameplay and a story that, let's be completely fair here, I feel like most people aren't going to like.
I'm going to give it 3 months. 3 months before it goes like free to play or is on the cusp of being shut down.
I think it's going to take more than 3 months. I think it will happen before the end of the year, though. At the very least, it's going to go down to like $20.
As it sits right now, I give it a 0% chance that it makes it to December of 2024.
Oh, wow.
I give it a 0%. Like everyone literally online just literally talks about how, is anyone even excited about this game anymore? Like, or anything like that? Like, is anyone going to play this? It's definitely not going to have the playership that WB or Rocksteady wants. And clearly it's not even done despite 8 years. 8 years of development. What the fuck were you doing for 8 years that it's still this bad? Man, It's so interesting to me. It's like you look at like some of these studios that have kind of like fallen from grace. It's like Rocksteady with like the Arkham games or whatever. It's like everyone universally loves the Arkham games. They're great games. But everything they've just put out since then has just been utter shite. It's like Gotham Knights wasn't very good, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not off to a good start whatsoever.
Well, because they wanted both games to be live services. And exactly. I don't think anyone will argue with the fact that that craze has kind of come and gone. Nobody wants live service games anymore. There are some people that are like, oh, I love grinding on Destiny or whatever. Live service games are awesome. That's just not the majority anymore. The idea of playing one game for tens of thousands of hours and just grinding it out. Doing all these like small menial tasks over and over again, that just sounds torturous. Why would anyone want to do that?
I don't know, man.
So I think all these years they've just been put on the worst possible path they could be on, trying to make this live service bullshit somehow work with a superhero video game.
Yeah, I'll never understand it.
It's the worst part of seeing this game fail? It's the one thing that actually makes me mad. And it's going to happen with a lot of the games I feel like are going to flop this year. I can just already tell Warner Brothers upon this game's just like miserable sales numbers. I feel like they're going to use that as an excuse to just gut Rocksteady completely. I feel like most of that studio is going to be gone before the end of the year. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah.
You made a talented studio make the wrong game and make it badly. And now you're making the people on the ground floor pay the price for your fuck up. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. I even say the same thing about like what was it? Fuck is the game? The makers of like of Mass Effect. What the fuck are they naming again? BioWare.
BioWare.
God damn.
Yeah, no, they've been serious.
It's like
their last good game was Mass Effect 3. It was Dragon Age Inquisition came out since then. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I don't know, but it's just like, man, it's like it's like, did we really think that, like, were people, like, really excited for Anthem? I mean, I guess maybe, probably, but, like...
Yes, I can speak as someone who was excited for Anthem.
My brother was excited for it, too, until, like, he saw that it was, like... That they, that they just, like... They were talking about, what was it? What was it? DLC before the game even came out, and he was just like, all right, well, that's kind of not good. So I was just like, yeah, it's not great. That was the point for me. It was just like whether or not it was even worth doing.
I'm ready to call it. It's worse than the Smash clones bullshit. It was worse than the fucking Fortnite and like battle royale craze that was going on for the longest time. I do think that the worst trend in gaming, the one that did the most damage to the industry as a whole, is the live service stuff, because we got so many awful products out of that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Because that's what happened with Redfall too. It's another one that I feel like that was a game that had all the potential in the world, and basically everyone in that studio was just like, "Please reboot this project. Please don't make us release this absolute shite." And then I don't know. I'm just glad that at least hopefully it's finally dead.
Yeah, let's hope. I just realized we never did an intro.
Hey everybody, welcome to That's Just Gamer Talk. I'm Tom Chris Can't Lose. This is my partner, the Gamer124, and this is no, I said That's Just Gamer Talk. No, they're wrong.
This is a mess.
Fuck.
This is a mess. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening to another episode of It Never Ends. Not That's Just Gamer Talk, but we did over 100 episodes of that. It's just it's in our grains in our brain. We need to get it out of there. So it's what happens. So, but yeah, be sure to follow my co-host over there at his Twitch channel. It's probably gonna be the best place to find him. Links in the show description below, or in the YouTube description as well. So be sure to subscribe to this on Spotify, YouTube, wherever it is you watch these, except for Apple, because I can't fucking get it to work on Apple. Sorry, Apple things or whatever, but tell Apple to get their shit together, and I'll be able to figure it out for once. So, but anyway, we will see y'all next week when we talk about some other bullshit, I'm sure. We should have Bill on next week, right?
Yeah, next week we're having Bill,
I have a special guest on as well, one of our good buddies. So, anyway, see y'all next week. Bye-bye.